Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Grow with Google. My name is Meg McFall, and I am excited to be back here. Welcome to 2022 and a brand new lineup of Grow with Google workshops. We appreciate everybody that's joining us. We have got quite a following this morning. For those that don't know, we are live on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as for those that registered on Eventbrite, we've got live on Zoom and have those people live with us. So if you have any questions as we go throughout today's workshop, feel free to put those questions in the comments if you're on social media, or if you are on with us today on Zoom, feel free to break in and ask those questions as we go along. I want to make this workshop personal to you and your business, or to whatever you are working on. I kind of put this directed towards business because that is essentially what I do. I am actually the southeastern regional area of Utah. I'm stretched out into Navajo Nation and Ute Mountain area as well, but I'm the business consultant down here for the Small Business Development Center over the southeastern region. And so I kind of direct things a little bit towards business. So if you have a specific questions for what you're working on, whether that is maybe a profile page for your business or an entire website for your business, or maybe you're looking for a job and you're looking to put together a portfolio online and you have a question towards that, feel free to ask those questions as we're going along. If I see those, or if you're on Zoom and you can ask those live, feel free to do so, because I want to make this a valuable workshop for you. Today, we're going to talk about making your website work for you. So many times as I'm working with businesses or individuals, because I do both business development and workforce development, and you'll see that crossover a lot as we talk today. I have kind of 4 different groups that fall into the website. Either you feel, oh, I don't need a website. And if you're in that camp, you're probably not in this workshop. Or you ran into a website development platform. There's so many out there, Wix, GoDaddy, there's several of those, and you found a template that you like and you put it together and you published it in one day and you just put it out there, but you're not getting the traffic that you want. It doesn't work for you. That's another camp that we have. There's another one that I am on social media. I already have a presence. I don't need a website because I get everything that I need online through my social media platforms. That's another camp. And then there's the other camp that takes the painstaking time to put it together, but they never get it launched. Okay, so there's these 3 different camps that I seem to see all the time. And so we want to make sure that we create a website that works for you and your business or your job search that you're doing, and make sure that you get everything you can out of it. I want to thank our co-host today, which is the Rural Online Initiative. It's an amazing program that started here in Utah, but has spread literally worldwide. COVID kind of taught us that we needed to be able to have the skills to work remotely. We started that many years ago here in Utah, and it has picked up worldwide. If you've listened into the conversations, we've stretched out. North Dakota's on here. When I took the class a year ago, or just over a year ago, we had people from Washington, D.C. I know that there's been people from other countries that have stepped into that. So if you're looking at a remote job or taking your business and working with customers remotely, I highly encourage you to look into that and get more information on that program so that you can be more effective working remotely. Okay, so today, more than ever, small businesses are getting online and connecting with consumers and driving sales. Okay, essentially that's the idea behind your website and why you're creating that. But what is in the design of a website? There are a lot of things that we have to think about when we're designing a website. We need to be thinking about what colors, what graphics, the functionality of our website, but also we need to think about the content and the layout. Just picking a different layout or a font that we enjoy, for us personally, doesn't necessarily mean that that is going to work best for you and your clients. And that's something that we need to be thinking about in detail as we go out. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just early Monday morning. So I apologize for that. But the other thing we need to be thinking about are like colors in the fonts. A lot of people don't know that colors and fonts actually tell a story. They create emotion, they create moods. And what does that say about you and your business that maybe brand your business in a specific way? A story that I like to tell, one of my first businesses, I had picked colors that I really liked. And I had picked a font that I really liked for me personally, okay? My ideal client were women in business specifically. And so I picked colors I liked and fonts that I liked, and I went into business, but I was attracting men. And it's not that I couldn't serve men. I enjoyed working with men, but they weren't my ideal client. I wanted to work with women. And I couldn't figure out why I was just attracting men and I couldn't attract women. Well, I had a brand specialist come in and start working with a brand specialist. And she found out that my ideal client was women. And she asked me where I came up with my colors and my fonts. I said, well, those are what I really like. So that's what I used. And then she started teaching me about what colors meant and what fonts meant and the emotions. I had picked masculine colors and a masculine font. And so my colors and my fonts were attracting masculine energy into my business. And that's why I couldn't attract women. So really interesting, funny story. Once I changed my font and changed my colors, I was attracting women very quickly. It was very interesting, the small little change. All of a sudden attracting my ideal client, okay? A great website is goal-oriented. What are your goals when you're putting together your website, okay? It is organized, okay? Your site needs to be easy to navigate. It is useful, okay? Does your site have useful content that your clientele, or if you're, again, a job seeker, that your potential employer can use to evaluate the information that you put on there, okay? Functionality, does your website have useful things on it, okay? Intuitive, is it easy to use on all devices? We have moved very much away from a desktop computer. A lot of people these days don't even have a desktop computer. They've moved to laptops, tablets, and phones. In fact, a lot of younger generation, and I'm dating myself on this one, only have phones. They've moved completely away from having laptops, which blows my mind. I don't know how you even function without like even a minimum of laptop, but they've moved to like tablets and complete phones because they're just so easy for them to use. I couldn't do it. I still have the brick phone, the huge ones, because I have to have the big screens, but they can do that, okay? Is your website easy to use on a mobile device? Okay, and is it search friendly? Can search engines find your website? Have you SEO'd your website? When was the last time it was SEO'd? A lot of people put together their website once and SEO it one time and never SEO it again. SEOs change on a daily, weekly, monthly, constantly. You need to be doing that on a regular basis. And that is what will keep your website search friendly. And if you're not doing that, then it will drop off the search. And if you're not search friendly, how are people going to find you? These are things that we need to be thinking about when we put together our websites, okay? A great website is goal-oriented. Okay, excuse me. Why do you want a website? We need to be thinking about why we want a website. What is the goals behind it? Okay, is it to build a brand, to generate leads, to make sales? Okay, re-engage your customers maybe. Okay, attract employees or to provide support. These are some reasons why you might want to create a website. But they all need to be goal-oriented so you know if your website is effective and if you've reached those goals, okay? Who is your target audience? Taking your time to define your target audience is vitally important when creating your website, okay? Trying to understand your customer, how they act, what they think, and how they live are all very important because that is going to go into the design of your website and how you create it, how you would create Your website for somebody that is in the 50 to 60 range is going to be very different from an ideal client or an ideal audience that is, say, in the 20 to 30 range, right? So knowing that information is going to be very impactful in when you're putting together your website. Okay, some helpful hints. Defining your audience narrowly. A lot of people will come in and say, well, I can help everybody. So they have way too big of an umbrella of who they can audit, okay, who they can help. The problem is when you want to attract everybody, you attract nobody because it's too big. Your clients need to be able to see themselves working with you. And when your umbrella is too big, then they can't imagine themselves in there. You need to narrowly define who you're working with so that they can see themselves actually doing that, or they can see their aunt working with you, or their mother working with you, or whoever that might be, so that you can attract that person, or they can refer that person to you, or whatever that might look like, okay? See the world like them. You need to step into those shoes for a while and see the world the way they do. And in order to really get down and deep and define what that looks like. Understand their emotions, their motivations, and their desires, okay? You want to know this information because this information, again, is going to go back into your content that you're writing for your website, the pictures that you're using. When we write and put in that content, you want to evoke emotion. Again, you want them to see themselves in whatever you're doing, okay? You want them to see themselves as a part of what you're doing. Okay, how will you measure success? Okay, going back to setting those goals for your website, how will you measure your success? Okay, track your online sales. Are you going to collect forms of submission? You're going to monitor phone calls? You're going to measure engagement? How are you going to know that your website was successful? Okay, think about your existing website features. What do you want to accomplish with those? Okay, you want to be specific and be realistic. How can you track these measures of success? Go back to thinking SMART goals. Okay, and make sure that we're following within those. Okay, Google Analytics is a great way to help you measure your success. Okay, I do an entire class on Google Analytics. It's on our summer or our spring semester schedule. It's up on Eventbrite, so go ahead and get on there. If you have never worked with Google Analytics before, I encourage you to know how to do that and take the time to learn it. Google Analytics is if you go to g.co/analytics, you can connect your website up with your Google Analytics and they will go through and show you an immense amount of information about your website that is valuable to setting your goals, to knowing what traffic is coming through your website and to understanding the content and evaluating which channels are the most effective for conversion. Okay. Google Analytics is free to start. Okay, you can just go to that website and you click start, and then you connect your website up properly, and you follow the instructions to track the codes of your website. Okay, Google Analytics will show you who your audience is by giving you a demographic report. Why would it be important to have a demographic report for your website? Okay, that all goes back to knowing your ideal client, your ideal customer. Something that's really interesting is you might think that you have one ideal client or ideal customer, and yet it might be a completely different one. Okay, when you're launching a new product or you're launching a new service, whatever that might look like. I have a customer here that thought their ideal client came from Utah, that thought most of their sales came from Utah, and most of their traffic came from Utah. But when we pulled their analytics, it really actually came from Kansas. And it came out of left field, and they had no idea that most of their clients came from Kansas. Okay, they were not tracking properly where they were coming from and how they were getting their sales, and they were wasting their marketing dollars on Utah not really wasting, wrong word there. They weren't focusing marketing dollars on Kansas because they didn't know that that's where their ideal client really was. Okay, they thought their ideal client were 2 years older than what they really were. And so if they shifted their marketing a little bit, they split their money between Kansas and Utah and they increased their sales by 20% over 6 months. Okay, small little tweaks by knowing and tracking your ideal client and your target audience makes a huge difference. So then your next time around, you're launching a new product, you have a better clue, a better idea. So you're not wasting money on marketing. You know exactly who's coming after that product, and you can go right after the right ideal target demographic the next time you go marketing. Okay, a great website is organized. Okay, so start with a plan. What is information architecture, or IA? We always hear about AI, right? Excuse me, we always hear about AI. Okay, but when it comes to websites, we want to talk about IA, which is information architecture. Okay, it's a way basically to organize the information on your website to achieve your business goals. Okay, so we're going to talk about, I live in southeastern Utah. We have a lot of artisans down here, and they're amazing artisans. And so we're going to take one of them. We're going to talk about when the websites are put together. So we have a jewelry store. The beautiful silver jewelry is absolutely incredible. So we put together a website for this jewelry maker, but we wanted to make sure that it was organized. We wanted to make sure that it reached her target goals. Okay, so we had a homepage. It was a jewelry store homepage, but under there we had tabs, right? You always want to have your tabs so they're easy to find. She had an incredible story, and we wanted to make sure we shared that because we buy off emotion. Okay, remember, we're going to go back to that emotion. We buy off emotion, and her story was emotional. These how she does her jewelry was passed down for generations upon generations, and we wanted to share that in the about, right? So her story is shared in the about. Okay. It's an e-commerce site, so we've got to have a way to sell her wares. So it's under products. We broke that down in products, but she essentially has 3 types of products that she makes. So we broke that down into 3. We kept it simple. We could have broken it down much further. She's got a lot of different things that she makes, but we wanted to keep it simple. Rings, watches, and necklaces is the 3 that we came up with. And then last but not least, she does custom pieces. You find a watch or a ring or something, but you want something custom just for your loved one, you can contact her and have a special piece made just for your loved one, right? So this is her website. Simple, straightforward, very, very easy, okay? Ultimately, this is what we came up with, okay? Tips for organizing your website, okay? Use short, descriptive labels, okay? Keep most important information on your navigation page. Okay, keep site visitors in mind where and how they're looking for information. Okay, don't make them search for the information that they're looking for. Keep it up front. Anytime you're putting something on your website, think of how is the user going to look at this information? How is the user going to easily find this information? So the website we have here, it's essentially a quilter's website. And they have done the special. Anytime I go look for fabric, I want to know what's on sale, right? So they got it right up front. Super easy. Today's quilter special is right up front, 75% off. Right up front, easy to get, right? All their tabs right up front. They kept that user-friendly special, right up, okay? They followed all of those rules, okay? A great website is useful. 46% of people say that they would not purchase from a brand again if they had to interruptive mobile experience. Okay, a mobile experience is massively important in today's age. Like I said, this younger generation, and I don't know what my camera's doing, this younger generation is very, very mobile friendly. And so they've gone almost exclusively to their phones. We also have, for us that are down here, we're a tourist-based industry. How many of you go on vacation and take your laptops with the intention of looking up hotels, restaurants, your sites to see on your laptops? We all take our phones. So if you are in an industry where naturally people look at your phone to find you, it's more important to make sure you are mobile ready and mobile friendly. And it is essential to business. If you have a hard to use mobile website, then it's something to definitely reevaluate. Okay, what is useful content? Number one is text for highlights and bulletin points. Okay, the next is image. Add photo gallery. Okay, and the last but not least, video. Videos are actually watched more than text is read, and they're more engaged than photos. It's pretty incredible. Okay, again, going back to trying to understand your user experience. Okay, publish useful or I'm struggling today, guys. First workshop back. Okay. Publish useful, original content. If you work in an industry and taking a lot of pictures, whether it's classes, down here we do a lot of tour guide type stuff, taking a lot of original content is vital to being successful down here because there are so many other people in that same industry. You've got to stay on the cutting edge of what you're doing and show the difference in what you offer versus the person or the business down the street, right? Okay, use IA to stay organized, use short descriptive names and labels, and then make content visible in your search engines. If you have not taken the get yourself listed on Google and Google Maps class yet and you own a business, then make sure you take that class. We go over how to get yourself properly listed, but we also go how to get yourself and your content visible on search engines. So that is a really, really important aspect, okay? Google Trends, compare search inquiry volumes over time. You want to know what your volumes, your search volumes are over time and see that what you're doing is actually having an impact on it. Okay, you want to incorporate relevant keywords into your website and your content to connect with searchers. So a lot of people don't know this, but we went through the blog generation where everybody was doing blogs and now they've moved to vlogs and things like that. What a lot of people don't know that blogs are still vitally important for websites because you need that ongoing new content on your website because it helps you SEO. And a lot of people don't know that, but if you go through your analytics and you find what keywords and what's trending in your industry that will pull people to your website and you include those keywords within your content, within your blogs, it will help you rank higher on those search engines. And so including those is a really, really good way to help pull you up higher on those search engines and help your trends on that. And then monitor your brand popularity. That's another really important thing. If you work in an industry that there are a lot of people in that same industry, monitoring your brand popularity and how you're trending on that brand popularity is also another important aspect that you can do. If you're branding and you're increasing that popularity between all of these three things, then you can essentially keep yourself up against the next or the next people that are in that same industry. So next is a great website is functional. Okay, what does functional mean? Okay, functional, what your website can do. Essentially, site search, online forms, your online store, and then your online tools. So these are the four things that your customers and things like that will be looking for within your website if they're relevant for your business. Okay, so in scenario one, you run a shoe repair business. People call or visit to get a quote. Okay, taking those calls away, what can they do on your website to make that more functional and easier for your business. So you could create an online form that people can request a quote from your website. That will make it more efficient and flow smoother. It also takes away that phone call that would pull you away from work and allow a more efficient way to work, okay? In scenario 2, you run a cafe. Many people call and ask about the menu and deliveries. Okay, you can publish a website page that answers frequently asked questions. Okay, so you can go on and you can post your menu online and have a link to your menu on your frequently asked page. You can also answer the delivery. Do you have deliveries? Nowadays, it's almost a requirement for restaurants with COVID and everything else to have delivery, doing Uber Eats and Postmate on all the different things. Most restaurants have delivery unless you live where I live. Basically, it's required for most people, most restaurants, and especially in the big cities, to have it. But having that information, which ones that they use and how that works, is important. And so putting that on their website is going to be massively effective. Okay, do's and don'ts of functionality. Okay, you do want to add useful functionality. Keep your forms short. That is someplace that people make big mistakes. People don't want to fill out long forms. Keep them short, okay? And then make a checkout easy. We talk about this in the e-commerce webinar. If your checkout process is more than 4 steps, by the 5th step, you start seeing a lot of abandoned carts. So if you are having 5 steps or more, you need to evaluate your checkout process and seeing how you can make that a quicker process, okay? Avoid automatic pop-ups. For a while, it was automating your website so you could make more money. And so like automatic pop-ups and stuff like that, where it was a thing. Avoiding that, customers don't want to have any of that, okay? Don't autoplay videos with sound. When customers don't want, don't we hate get on the website and all of a sudden there's this music or this something come up and you're like, where did that come from? I don't even know how to shut that off, especially when you have a sleeping baby. So think about that as you are you're putting a website together. Don't have those automatic players, okay? And then never sacrifice the user experience for design, okay? Sometimes we get so wrapped up in this really cool design and we're so excited for it, and yet that design might slow down our website. I'm guilty of this. We put together this really amazing, I own a financial firm, and our very first website, we put together this really amazing website. It had all of these really cool videos that would automatically play. They didn't have any sound, but they had like the photos, instead of being like actual photos, they were like animated photos, but it slowed down our website. And we were okay with that because it was such a cool design and it was really interactive. And the website went nowhere. We invested all that money into a website that went nowhere. We sacrificed the user experience for design, and we learned the hard way. Don't learn the hard way like I did, okay? Think of the functionality of your websites, okay? A great website is intuitive, okay? Tip number 1, navigation. Highlight select elements, okay? Allow plenty of space for users to tap. I have fat fingers. I have fat finger when I'm typing, like a text message. I have fat finger messages all day long. They're horrible. My poor people that I send. I'm a great proofreader after I hit send. Anybody else? Okay. Allow plenty of space for people to tap your links to take them to the different places or to add to carts, things like that. For us people with really big hands, okay? Ensure that there's a call to action that can be tapped on to help improve your sales or improve your engagement or whichever industry that you're in, okay? Making sure that those things are followed is really important, okay? Tip number 2, shopping, okay? Help the user back trend to continue the shopping. I hate when I go to a site and I add something to a cart and it takes you to the cart and then there's no button to go back and continue to shop. It just takes you through the checkout process. It's like I wanted more stuff, but I couldn't get to it. I had to just check out. So then I don't go back and shop there because it's too complicated, okay? And then recommended similar products. If you do a recommended similar products, you usually will get an additional sale out of them or additional upgrade. So remember to add those to your checkout process, okay? Number 3, your checkout process. Reduce the steps to checkout. So important, okay? Show your visitors their progress. I love having this stuff about across the top. I don't know how many else. Say, here's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, you're done, okay? Think about that when you're putting together your checkout process, okay? Offer guests checkout. I hate creating an account on every single website. So if I can do a guest checkout and just be done with it, it's amazing. Think about that type of a process. I just want to try it, and if I like it, then I might go back and do it. Think about that process. Who is your ideal client, okay? Do they want to have to set up an entire account and get all your emails and everything else? Or are they the type of person that just wants to get their stuff and go and be done? Think about that process, okay? Enable a digital wallet, okay? Everybody, well, I can't say everybody, but a lot of people have gone to Apple Pay, Google Pay, and things like that, so they don't have to carry across their credit cards and stuff like that. It's a secure, they feel like it's a secure way to pay. Enable that as an option. And another option can be that a lot of people have gone to cryptocurrencies. So if you can add cryptocurrencies as a form of payment, and if you don't know how to do that, I can help you or direct you to some people or some merchant processors that actually allow that. But adding cryptocurrencies is another option because a lot of people have moved to cryptocurrency these days with COVID and everything else that's going on. So be thinking about who your ideal client is and what is their ideal method of payment. And that is some options too, okay? Okay, responsive design. Using Chrome Inspector, if will, there's a tool basically to test your website and make sure it's compatible with all designs. So you can take your website and you put your website address in, it'll take your website and you can test it against all of these different devices, and it'll show you what it looks like. So you can see what problems your website could be having, and you can know which ones you need to go in and adjust it to and fix it to, okay? So for the Chrome Inspector, you can visit your website from the Chrome view. Okay, then you right click and select inspect. Okay, and then you can toggle down and see which one, and it'll adjust it based on which one. So if you're cutting off words or cutting off a vital link or different things like that, it'd be really, really important. And then you can go in and make those changes or have your web designer make those changes and make sure that it will fit within those different devices, okay? A great website is search friendly. 75% of smartphone users turn to search first to address their immediate needs. How often, and I'm guilty of this, do we just go to Siri or Alexa or, and ask a certain question of what we need? I did it last night, okay? Right? To address those certain needs. They come up, it's super fast, super simple. It's exactly what we needed, okay? How search results look. It is important that you know what your business looks like when it comes up on search results. Did you know that you can control what your business looks like when it comes up on Google? A lot of people don't know that. You can control what your profile looks like. You can control what it looks like when it comes up on Google Maps. A lot of people don't know that. And if you don't have or haven't set up your profile yet, then you need to do that so that you can take control of that. So you know what those things look like. Okay, so this is a basic Google search. The top of the page is the search query. Okay, right under that, you have essentially your Google ads, and then your organic search falls under that. On the right-hand side of the page, you have your business profile searches. So if you were to search your personal business, that's what your business profile search would look like. And you can set that up so you can show what it looks like, okay? And we go over in detail on that on the putting yourself on Google search and maps class, Okay, behind the scenes of how Google works. Okay, there are 4 steps on how Google works. So essentially step number 1 with web crawlers to find new web pages and add them to the Google index. Okay, number 2 is when we search, Google algorithm searches this index to find information. And then number 3, Google uses about 200 plus signals to find the most relevant content. And then number 4, the Google search uses the ranking order to find out what's most relevant. This is why you want to make sure the most used keyword searches in your trending keywords are in your website. And you keep updating that, and you make sure that is an ongoing process within your website, because this is an ongoing process all the time within Google. And so if your website has become stagnant and you're not updating that all the time, then it will not be the most effective for your website. Your website will eventually fall stagnant and fall lower and lower and lower on the web searches, because doesn't have the most up-to-date keywords falling within the most relevant content. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay. So search engine optimization, okay? These are the things that the search that will optimize your website. Fast loading, you wanna make sure it loads fast. Again, remember, once upon a time, I sacrificed fast loading for design. It hurt my SEOs, okay? If you wanna test your website,
Water's here.
Thank you, I'm teaching.
You want me to put some of it in the fridge?
It would be great, thank you. Sorry, fast loading. You can go to test my website. If you go g.co/test my site, it'll ask you to put your website in there, and then it will test your site for you and basically give you a report and tell you how your website's doing. Okay, then you know what you need to make adjustments on for that, so that it is you can basically rank up your website. Okay, useful content, publish info-rich content for your site visitors. Again, that goes back to like your blog. If you have a blog on your website, your general information on your website, keeping that updated and your trend keywords and all of that stuff. It's an ongoing process. Websites are not one and done situations. Websites an ongoing, keeping it updated, keeping it going situation, okay? And then text links, connecting the content on your pages, sites, okay? It's another, those 3 things are essentially what it's looking for. The next 3, okay, is the title page and description, okay? Using keywords in the title page, targeting your audience in the search. Information architecture, building the organization, building an organized website for Google can see and understand. The next is all browsers and devices, okay? Making sure that your design, users experience works on all devices, okay? So making sure that you can go through all of that. Okay, next, essentially, okay, using Google Search Console, okay, to monitor and maintain and troubleshoot your site can help you with your search results. So using this is another key. Google has several keys to help you maintain your website and help you build on an online presence. So this will confirm your Google can find you, okay? It will request an indexing and then view your Google search trafficking and then review your email alerts. So those are the things that the console will show you how to do or show you. Okay, to visit the console, you go to g.co/search console and then add the website property to it and then update your search map. Okay, so the console features your performance report, your URL inspector, and then your mobile usability. So between Google Test My Site and then the Search Console, you will have all the information that you need ongoing to be able to sorry, we've got somebody that's not muted, to be able to have all the information you need to SEO your website. So how all of this works together. So We're going to go through the course of the spring semester. We're going to go through Google My Business. We're going to go through Google Ads and then Google Search. We essentially went through most of Google Search on this website. You take your website and you connect all of these together, and you'll be able to have a powerful website that will work for you and your business by taking the time to build a website that functions the way that it'll reach your ideal clients and that it works for you the best. It is a powerful tool for your business. And by linking your website with all 4 of these features, you will have a powerful target audience driver. Okay, so your next steps. Okay, first you need to make a list of goals for your website. Next, after that, you need to select the intuitive design that will fit your target audience. Again, don't fit the design and the layout that you like or that is really cool, like I did, okay? You wanna fit the intuitive design that fits your target audience and what you're trying to achieve for your business, okay? Plan the information architecture for your website, create useful content, and then add useful functionality, and then search engine friendly and be search engine friendly. Okay, so it looks like I've got a couple of questions here I want to go over real quick. So Jennifer asked, regarding location, is there a viable workaround for IP location that is skewed by satellite information? I personally have a website. I personally have a satellite internet, and my IP location is rarely shown that I am in Utah. So anytime you use IP or you're on a VPN, it will show you at a different location. So for some people, that's a great option, and other people, it's not. I've never, my question for you, Jennifer, is it's not showing your website here in Utah, or I'm a little confused as to location, because most websites you get to type in your location or what location that you want on. So I need a little more information on that one. So G.co console, or what was the previous before the console? Well, let's go back to that slide and this one, search. This one right here. Oops.
Thank you.
No problem. And the Mohammed G.co test my site. There's not a question on that, so I don't know if you need more information on test my site or not. So Mohammed, if you'd give me more information on that. Thanks for joining us, ACF. Okay, so for your user demographic on your analytics, Jennifer, it will go through, it should go through on who is going through your website. So it'll tell you who is visiting your website, not your personal demographics. So it doesn't matter where it's showing where you are. So for you as example, so like you, if you're looking for where your clients are joining you from, or searching your website from, it doesn't matter where it's showing you personally at. Google Analytics will show where your clients or your customers are coming into your website at. It will go through, it'll show you the demographics of who are visiting your website. So it doesn't matter as far as where it's showing you from. I'm sure there are some that are gonna fall through the cracks that have VPN lines and things like that to block that. It's not going to be a perfect science, but for the most part, it's going to give you a pretty accurate showing of where your clients are coming from. That'll give you a pretty good idea. But there will be, I'm sure, some that are going to fall through the cracks that are going to show from different locations, but it's not going to be enough to skew things drastically. It'll still give you a pretty good idea. Okay, do we have any more questions? If I analyze my client demographics, trying to decide how skewed the report will be if they have satellite internet, thank you. I don't know. I think you're going to end up driving yourself crazy if you try and figure out how many have satellite internet versus how many don't, just because there's just no real way of knowing one way or the other. I think that if you have a high skew, it'll be very obvious, but I've never seen one that has been so off that it's hurt numbers. And if you have any real serious questions, we can get on and look at that together, and we can kind of go over that. I can even bring in one of the Google experts that we work with, but I've never seen one that has been so skewed that it has been such a problem, especially even being down in our area down here, where there are several people that have to have the satellite internet just because of the rural area that we live in. Awesome. I'm gonna, so I don't forget, but we actually have social media going too. I'm going to pull up social media. Are there any other questions on the Zoom questions as well? While I'm waiting for this to come up, it doesn't look like we have any more questions on Zoom. We do have, so next week, we continue on with these discussions on Google, the Google business side, but we also have, just so people know, we do still have scholarships for the Google certificates still available. And we do also have the entrepreneur fundamentals that are up and ready to go. They are on Canvas as well as the Small Business Development Center's website. Those took us a little bit to load and get those up and ready, but they are ready to go. And those are available on Canvas, and they're self-paced for those that I know have crazy busy. As business owners, we're all crazy busy and don't have a bunch of time to devote to classes and things like that are set time. So we did those so that they were available at self-paced so that you could have do them anytime that you're available. So for any of those that are interested in the Google IT certificates, those applications are still available on our website, as well as the Canvas classes, and the Entrepreneur Fundamentals are available. The list is available on our website as well. It takes you directly to the Canvas catalog, and you can register for those directly there. So looks like we've got a couple more. So our website, just give you the link real quick. Well, I'm pulling up that link. Are there any other questions? Okay, it looks like we are done for the day. Appreciate everybody that joined us today. We will see you next week at Grow with Google, 9 a.m. Monday morning. You guys have a wonderful week and we will see you next time. Which website are you asking for? Okay.
I got it. I got it.
Perfect. Okay, you guys have a wonderful week and we will see you next week on for Grow with Google class. Have a wonderful week.